Well, good transition. Speaking of employment, 20% of urban office space remains vacant as hybrid has become our new normal. And even though workers say they want to be remote, what's happened is that there is a slump in employee engagement, and the scores have returned back to where they were kind of before the pandemic. And while I think, most of our membership are, very good employers, we do a lot of employee engagement studies in our firm. So I can tell you from personal observation that, we need to get better. And, there's three things that employees want today. They want skills acquisition, compensation, and flexibility. And, we did touch upon this last year, Joe, but I think the underlying problem is the way that employers define flexibility and the way that their employees define flexibility are two very, very different things. This was a analysis done by the Harvard Business Review, and the vertical axis compares how commonly these various employee benefits are available to employees. The horizontal axis represents how valuable they are to employees. So the upper left quadrant are kind of like the things that are Me Too and differentiated, and the lower right quadrant are the things that you would want to do for competitive advantage. So if you want to separate yourself from the pack as it relates to flexibility, offer more PTO. But what I would also say is that, this is the advice I've been giving my clients. I think with comp and flexibility, you kind of have to come up with programming that is for everybody. But on the career progression one, which is really difficult for a lot of our members, right? If you have, 100 employees and, you only have so many boxes you can elevate people to, we should be talking more about skills acquisition, because all employees want to acquire skills. If you have an $18 an hour worker, they want to know what their path is to 20. So we should be having those conversations all the time. But I think the most important thing is to identify who your high potentials are. And in most companies, that might only be 5 or 7 people. And then make sure you are at least creating the right skills acquisition programming for those 5 or 7 people. So in lieu of trying to execute a corporate university, which most companies find almost impossible, at least try to find the right training for the people who are most valuable in your organization, and then you can expand it from there. The other thing that we mentioned last year is nothing makes employees more crazy than you forcing them to come into the office in a random way and then put them on a Zoom call with people who are remote. So when you bring people in the office, and I know hybrid's not for everybody, and we have lots of employers on this line, 5 days a week in the office, but if you are remote, the days that you have people in the office, make sure they have a clear purpose when they're there. And also, like last year, we need to make sure we're utilizing our collaboration software. I said last year Teams was broken. It's still broken. Companies are not using their collaboration suites as intended. And I encourage all companies to go back and revisit, make sure you have a clear script. These are the times we use email. This is the time we use Teams. This is the time we use chat. And make sure all of your employees are using all the software kind of as it's intended.